All right, everybody. We are live with the MMA Mainstream Podcast. I am, as always, James, with my co-host Kaelyn. Kaelyn, how you doing this week?
Good. I'm glad the week's over.
You and me both. I had time off, and it still felt like the slowest week ever.
Yeah, mine was going back to work week, and it was awful.
Fun.
Yeah.
All right, we had some interesting stuff happen in the world of MMA this week. We'll start with last week, where we had Derek Brunson versus Kevin Holland.
Yeah.
But we're gonna start from the bottom and work our way up to the main event, where we're gonna only highlight one prelim fight. That's because the fighter was from the Central Valley, which we are located from, and we are fans of hers. Marion Renault unfortunately lost to Macy Chiasson. Chiasson. I wrote it down. I don't have my notes on me, so I forgot to pronounce hers. So yeah, I suck. Unfortunately, I only saw the first round of this fight. I didn't have enough time to watch it back completely. I thought Renault looked good in the first, and she lost a decision. So I imagine she didn't look necessarily great in the final two rounds.
Yeah, so the last two rounds, I think it was the last round in particular, might have been the second one also. Seemed like Macy just had more control. She was getting tagged. And then she dropped Renault pretty good there. So that was pretty much it. I thought she looked really good in the beginning also. Her striking looked really good. But towards the end, it just didn't work out for her, I guess. And Macy really is pretty strong. Watching her get hit with those punches to make Renault drop, you got to hit pretty hard. So Macy has a lot of power.
Did she start looking better in the way of using her height, because she was so much taller than Renault, and she didn't really seem to use that advantage? Did she finally start to use that, or was
it looked like she got her distance down, and then those punches were just so hard. It's pretty entertaining, actually. I'm sad because Renault didn't win, but Macy definitely surprised me because I didn't really know too much about her in the first place. But she's definitely really good. She's one to watch out for.
All right. Well, Renault, we're going to talk a little bit more about her a little bit later. She's already got her next opponent set, which it's pretty interesting with what's gone on this week in the world of mixed martial arts. So we'll get to that a little bit later. But moving up the card on the UFC Fight Night, we have Tai Tuivasa versus Harry Hunsucker. And Bam Bam won very convincingly.
Yes, he did.
It started off, Hunsucker was trying to be a little bit more like methodical with his striking, more of not a brawler, more of a boxer style. And then Tai was like, no, let's end this. They went brawler, and Tai got the better of Harry Hunsucker at 49 seconds in the first.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
It was. He landed 78% of his strikes. So 14 out of 18.
Yeah.
That was a highly entertaining fight. Yeah. I was also surprised by Tuivasa and how he basically met the heavyweight limit. Not very many fighters do that. Heavyweight is like the most flexible weight class in MMA.
Yeah. And he was like half a pound? Was it half a pound over, or was it a full pound?
I don't even know. I thought he was half a pound under.
Oh, under? I thought it was over, but you could be right.
Because I think the limit is 265, and he was at 264.5.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And wow. So I'd like to see Tuivasa go against now a better talent, not somebody who's making their debut. I mean, like fighters got to make their debut somehow, somewhere. But man, I feel like you're setting him up to lose by putting him against Tuivasa.
Yeah, that was I like that fight a lot. He did exactly what I wanted him to do.
Yeah, he just went out there and was like, I'm going to get punched in the face. Oh, all right, now I'm going to end this. And that's what he did. And he looked phenomenal doing it.
Mm-hmm. That was a good one. I like that one. I think I had him as my pick also, Tuivasa, because of that reason.
I don't remember. I need to write this down.
You picked the other one. I remember that. You picked Harry because I know I went with Tuivasa because I was hoping he was going to do what he did, and he did.
Yeah, well, I should be ashamed of myself for thinking he was going to come out and do something because he looked good in that first few seconds. Like he looked like he was like, okay, it's going to be back and forth. No, Tuivasa had a different idea and put him down. So I take the L on that one. And now moving up the card, we have Adrian Yanez versus Gustavo Lopez. This fight, I took Lopez because of the tattoo that he has of the cancer symbol, being a fellow Cancer, and he lost. And Yanez's striking looked incredible.
It was crazy. That was a great fight.
It was very solid. He landed some solid combinations, great combinations, and then he finally put him down in the third. But man, like Lopez didn't really have anything to offer him. It was insane.
Yeah, but Yanez is such a monster. I didn't realize how good he was going to be. That was really exciting.
I completely agree. That was a really great fight and great performance by Yanez.
Was that a bantamweight or is that a what weight class was that? Was that a flyweight or bantamweight? Oh crap, doesn't say.
Let's find out. It was a bantamweight bout. That's correct.
So I was the reason why I asked that is because I was pleasantly surprised to see someone in that weight class knock somebody out like that.
Yeah, the power that he had.
The power. Yeah,
the way he would land those combinations and just the hard, like the power behind him, like, ooh, you don't get that in that weight class. And so, yeah, that was also really amazing to see. Really great performance by him. I'm curious as to who they pair him up with next. That's what I'm looking forward to. All right. Now, the only female fight on the main card. Let me make sure I preface that right. On the main card, we had Cheyenne Bays versus Montserrat Ruiz, but they kept calling her Conejo. I believe that's
did they? Oh, they did. Yeah, they did.
On some of the more difficult names, which I mean, was pretty smart because it sounds like something I should be doing. They will use the nickname as the last name.
Yeah, I noticed that, but also, I mean, they were calling her by her first name at least.
True. What did you think about this fight?
That was a fun fight to watch. Because I'm not, obviously I don't know a lot about wrestling or anything, but that match was crazy. Montserrat just held control the entire fight. A lot of takedowns, and she just held her there. I don't know what the choke was, but she had her in a choke that she was about to finish almost for 2 rounds and didn't quite get it. But that fight was exciting to me.
Yeah, Conejo seemed to hold her down in the scarf hold.
That's what it was.
Was just not letting her up, just peppering her with strikes. And Bays was just like
trying to get out the whole time.
She did a little bit better in the third round. She looked better with her jiu-jitsu, but I feel like in the first and second, it was at the end of the round is when she started really turning it on, and she needed to have it on the whole time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I am surprised in the last round she was still in it, she was still defending herself really well. And I'm like, man, I'd be so exhausted after being held down like that for 2 rounds and a third. But towards that end, she tried to readjust and get out of the position, but man, she just got put right back. So, but I'm surprised she even had the strength and energy to try to evade all that still by the end.
Now, my favorite quote was, "I will follow you home, bitch."
Oh my God, I was going to say that.
After the fight, it got super heated.
I was going to ask you if you saw that, what happened
Of course I did.
I'm like, all right.
And I believe it was Bays that said that to Conejo. quite surprised. They had some bad blood going.
I don't know what was going on with that or if it was just the fight, but I was surprised. Or maybe she may have said something to her during the fight. I don't know. Probably.
I think she said something to her after the fight, like
right after.
Right after the final bell sounded. And
I've never seen girls do that, first of all. I've never seen girls do that in the UFC. That I've known of. Like maybe they have and they weren't on TV, but I'm surprised I haven't seen girls try to fight each other after the fight.
That would have been great. Like they would have been both of them.
That would have been epic.
But it would have been great if it went from an MMA fight to a street fight with hair pulling. Just saying. Just saying.
Either way, though, the last time we saw that was, the one that I remember is, Conor McGregor and all, that whole business after his fight with Khabib. But never have I seen girls do that. That might have been cool to watch, and that may have gotten them some more views for their next fight.
That would help. I mean, that intensity.
I guess if you want to go that route, double down, do it.
I feel like you had Ronda Rousey who brought a certain level of intensity because of that look on her face.
Yeah.
But that RBF, as some people like to call it.
Yeah, I have that.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Wait, now we know.
Yeah.
But with these two, you never got that with fueling that fight until after. No. And so
I had no idea they had such anger inside of them after.
Women need to really I love women's fighting. I love fighting. That's why we do a podcast. But I want to see more women out there turn up the ego and amp it up.
That'd be interesting.
Some intensity in here.
The only, when I think about that, the only females that I can really remember that come to my mind first about having, all that outside drama come into their fight was, I think, Ronda Rousey and Misha Tate. I think.
Ronda Rousey, Misha Tate. That was a really solid rivalry.
Yeah, because they were coaches on The Ultimate Fighter, and of course they had all that drama, just whether it was for TV or not. I don't think it was just for TV, that's for sure. But that's the only one I can remember that comes to mind as far as female goes, having that extra heat outside of the fight. So that'd be that's new. That's something new. I like it.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey did have a certain level of intensity, and she brought it against Misha Tate. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then she tried to have it with other female competitors, and always tried to show that intensity, but it never matched her.
No, because I feel like the other fighter didn't respond to stuff like that. I don't know if you remember Holly Holm before their fight, talking all kinds of trash, at the weigh-ins and stuff. And Holly Holm's such a sweet girl; she's not going to say anything mean to anybody. But Rousey was trying to get a reaction out of her, and it didn't work.
I don't like how you look. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some building that needs to happen there, but yeah. What happened after this fight was insane. It was a great performance by Kaneo. She looked amazing.
She did. Yeah.
She'd get that head and arm going to the scarf hold.
A little bit that she did strike, that looked pretty clean also. It wasn't bad.
Completely agree. Now we get to Song Kanan versus Max Griffin. Max Griffin from Sacramento area. He's competed here in I want to say Lemoore years ago before being picked up by the UFC. And there was a pretty back and forth fight, and then Griffin just Song went to his right and went right into a 2-hit combination that put him down. Griffin just did the work and looked good.
I can't remember this one. I can't remember it.
It was a striking affair. Nothing remotely going to the ground. And Song was landing some decent strikes.
Yeah.
But then for some reason, he went to his right, and there was Griffin with the right, and then the left, and the left put him down.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching the first minute of it, and I don't remember the ending.
You were like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah.
It happens. I understand. It happens to me all the time.
Plus, that wasn't originally the co-main event, was it?
I don't think it was.
I think so. I think that
But
one
it
got
ended up being, and you know what? That was a good fight to be a co-main on because
looks like it.
Max
Yeah.
Griffin went out there and he looked good. Big shout out to him, repping California all the way. Congrats to him, and can't wait to see what he does next.
Yeah,
Then we
I
have
wonder
Derek.
what's going to happen with him.
He's a welterweight. I don't think he's ranked.
No.
So hopefully, let's see him get in there.
I want to say he came off of the Contender Series. I can't be positive, but I think that's where he came from.
I'm not quite sure, but he's been competing for quite some time. So anytime to see somebody from Cali repping, let's do it. Let's get it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then we're going to move on to now the main event with Derek Brunson versus Kevin Holland.
What'd you think of that one?
I expected so much more out of Holland because, let's be real, I bit into the UFC hype machine, and I liked Holland and that he would talk smack, but all he seemed to do was sit and guard, go or have a body locking from his back, and just talk smack, and it's like,
well, first of all,
this isn't your mama jokes. This isn't going to win you a fight. Talking about his mother or the way he looks is not going to win you the fight. You need to fight.
I know, but they gave him Derek Brunson, though. I mean, it's not like losing to Derek Brunson is something to be ashamed about either. They kind of threw him in there with Derek Brunson. I'm actually not really too shocked that he lost. I wanted Holland to win, of course, but I'm really not surprised that he lost. Still there? Hang on, guys. 1 second. Looks like we're having some technical issues. Just another minute, guys. Sorry about that. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
That was my fault. My internet just dipped out.
I was like, you there?
We're back. It's still live, apparently. So
I know, that was weird.
For the win. All right.
Where were we?
Derek Brunson versus Kevin Holland. I was expecting more out of Holland just because, like I said, I've been into the UFC hype machine. I was glad that he talked smack because that's what he does.
At least
and gets the win. And you had mentioned that, but he's fighting Derek Brunson, which is fine. That's great. They need to be fighting, top opponents to move on. But Holland didn't show anything that. This might sound terrible. He didn't show that he deserved to be there because he wasn't listening to anybody. Tell you, he wasn't listening to his coaches.
Oh, really? I didn't hear.
Were like, just stay there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know, but you know what? When you haven't fought in guys that high up in the rankings or someone like Derek Brunson, sometimes you get caught off guard. You don't know what to do, and he has an ego. He wants to talk, so yeah, he'd probably, whether you hear it his coaches or not, he's just going to go to his natural instincts. And that's what happens. I'm still not surprised. I'm glad. I'm kind of happy for Derek Brunson to kind of keep him in his place, though.
Brunson did an amazing job, especially with 6 takedowns.
Yes. Yeah.
And then 70% of his strikes landed, so that was 226.
That's a lot. Ooh, that's a lot.
I can't even think about punching a heavy bag that many times.
Yeah.
So that was a good performance by Brunson. I look forward to seeing what they do with him, of course, who they match him up with next.
But I mean, so I kind of, if I was Derek Brunson, I might be a little disrespected by them thinking they could throw in Kevin Holland thinking he was going to beat him up or something. I might be a little offended if I was Brunson.
I wouldn't say I would be offended. Like, he beat him, and he beat him pretty, convincingly and decisively. So,
which he should have,
it's just
really. Technically.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
But it's just a fight, and then on to the next.
Yeah.
And you know what? He kind of did remind me of a Kevin Randleman Jr., just the way he used that wrestling. Just saying.
I mean, I'm sure people are disappointed with that fight because they probably thought Kevin Holland was going to do something special also. But, that's the way it goes.
I was one of them. And
you too, yeah,
sure enough.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to move on to this coming weekend with the UFC because, like I've said before, it's the UFC. They have a fight every weekend. It's what they do. And we're going to have Stipe Miocic, versus Francis Ngannou. And that is the fight. We know this. This is the most exciting fight. This is the main event. Both fighters coming off wins. Ngannou, man, bricks in his hands. Blunt force trauma.
Yeah.
Stipe is just, nobody has ever given him credit for being champ, and he's a pretty damn good champ.
He just gets so disrespected.
For the longest time.
The whole time. The whole time. He already beat Ngannou,
Yes, he did. So, but Ngannou, though, looks like he's got like that power. Oh my gosh.
I know. Yeah, you can't you can't just not let him fight again. You kind of have to, this is the fight to make again, since Miocic went through everyone anyways, and now here we are again.
Man, who do you take?
God, that's so hard. I don't know. I don't know. What about you? What do you think?
I'm going to go with Stipe because no one gives him props for anything.
I know. Yeah.
I think he's just going to go out there and handle it. I like Francis, but I feel like if you can weather his storm early on, and you're going to wear him out. It's almost like an early Mike Tyson fight.
Yeah,
like Mike Tyson, know. You just weather the storm, and he's going to get real tired, and then there you go. That's your opportunity.
I just wonder how good his cardio is right now. I wonder how serious he was about taking care of that to potentially go 5 rounds. I don't know, because that last fight he had, it looked like he just wanted to get out of there, knock the guy out, and get out of there pretty quick, which is what he did. So I don't know.
He was like, I got things to do, okay? I have dinner
apparently. I don't know. We didn't really get to see him go very long, so I don't know what his cardio is like. If he worked on his cardio and can last 5 rounds, I do think he will win. I do think he'll clip Miocic hard enough to put him down. I'm going to go ahead and pick Miocic, though, because he's the GOAT. And he's always fought 5-round fights, unless they finished early, but he's always trained for those anyway. And he's gone through everybody. He's gone through a lot of people twice. So I'm going to go with Miocic. But if Francis wins, I think that'd be cool too.
If he wins, I wouldn't be shocked.
If he wins, it's going to be because of an epic knockout, though.
That's true. He's going to have to floor him.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. What if it ends up being like a total dud? We always have these huge fights and
these huge ideas of what these fights can be, and then it's like, oh, it was a 5-round decision. What did you think?
Oh God, man!
I stopped and I went to the bathroom. I hope it's an exciting fight, but I always hope for an exciting fight, of course.
Well, it'll be on Francis because unless Miocic, knocks him out, which he can for sure. But if Francis knocks him out, it's going to be so much more epic of a knockout.
If he knocks him out, he is going to literally turn the lights out and then leave because he will still be knocked out. It will be bad. He will. He'll drop
I almost don't want to see Miocic go through that though, because I do love him a lot. I almost don't want to see that happen. But as a fight fan, you kind of do want to see that happen.
And what gets me is Ngannou's reach advantage in both arm reach and leg reach. Jeez.
So his reach is 83.
And his leg reach is 44.5.
I mean, if you look at them standing next to each other, you can see how much higher his hips are compared to Miocic. So he does have way more leg.
True. But the hair, I feel like it gives him so much more height.
Yeah, maybe. Dude, he's such a big dude, though. He's such a big dude.
So we both pick Stipe, the current champ, to retain over Ngannou. Hopefully that happens because those are our picks.
If Stipe wins, what do you think is next? Do you think he's going to keep fighting, or do you think he'll retire?
He could retire. I mean, who else?
He could have retired already.
Against? I mean, John Jones has talked about going to heavyweight, but
I forgot. They want to make whoever the winner is go against John Jones. I totally forgot about that.
I just feel like John, hey man, you need to fight somebody. I don't care if you fight. I don't care if you fight your brother or your mom in your backyard. You need to fight somebody.
Get back in there. I totally forgot about that. But also, Miocic could still just retire even if he wins. Also,
true, very true.
And then the fight to make will be Francis versus John for the belt. I don't know. That could be a scenario.
All right, we're gonna keep moving now down the card. Tyron Woodley versus Vicente
Luque.
What?
Luque.
Yeah. Wow, these names. They're going to kill me. All right. Tyron Woodley isn't the fighter that he once was.
No, he's not. Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but he's not, I don't know. How old is he? I think he's getting up there in age too, isn't he?
They do not have his age.
They don't have it. I forgot,
but he has been competing for a long time.
Yeah, it's been.
And so this is a huge opportunity for Vicente to get that big name under his belt, get a big win over a big name under his belt, I should say.
Yeah.
And
I'm not too hyped about Woodley anymore. I used to like him a lot, when he was the champ. He was pretty exciting, and then he had those few fights where it looked like he still won, but boring fight, or I noticed, and someone said this on either an article or a podcast. I don't remember. I listened to so many, but they were saying that maybe it was Brendan Schaub. It was probably him. He was saying that he notices that Woodley looks like he doesn't want to be there, which I see. And also, he's always looking up at the clock, waiting for the round to end. He's always like, all right, when is this going to end? He always has that look on his face. He's always looking up at the clock. He looks just like, man, I'm here because I have to be. Not that he wants to really make another run for the belt.
He could just be running out. You hate to say it, but he could just be running out his contract just to be like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to retire.
Yeah, I don't know his situation.
Champ, but you never know.
I don't know if he's doing it for money or what. I don't know what his contract is, but those last few fights, you could tell the spark was not there. He had no fire in him to actually win, but to win big. I feel like he doesn't really want to actually fight anymore.
Well, then I'm going to take Vicente because he's a guy who's on the upswing.
Yeah.
And I think he'll go in there and do very well against Woodley. But if Woodley can use that wrestling to hold him down, that'd be cool.
He might just do Vicente that and run out the clock.
Yeah, just hang back.
I don't know. I don't know. And I really don't know, but I guess I'll say Vicente. Just based off what I've seen lately from Woodley, I don't think I think he really does not want to be there, but he hasn't really done anything to really wow anybody or make him think that he wants to be there, belongs there, wants, his belt back. He's not vocal about anything anymore. You don't even hear anything about him. I know he has a lot of other things. I think he's an actor now and a rapper and whatever else he has going on. I don't know. But he really hasn't been around the UFC scene, staying relevant. That's for sure.
Very, very true. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I feel like we were talking about this before the show that this fight card, like, you have some decent names. You have a really great main event. Don't get me wrong. That heavyweight title fight, that's it. But yet it's not really a stacked card. You have one really great fight and then some fights.
I think since Tyron Woodley is on the card, you do have to put him up there with co-main or maybe even the third to last fight.
Well, that's fine if you put him up there, but yet that's Tyron Woodley. That's not a fighter. I'm like, oh man, this
I don't think he's a real big ticket seller anymore.
Yeah. But moving down the card, we do have Sean O'Malley, who has become more exciting. He was very exciting to start and kind of we saw some cracks in his armor, and he's taking on Thomas Almeida.
Yeah. I don't know, his whole injury. I think he broke his foot. Remember that fight? He broke his foot, but he still won that fight, surprisingly. And I think the next fight he had after that wasn't that for the belt against what's the champ's name? Figueiredo, isn't that it? Davidson.
Offhand, I do not know. I just know that they're both coming off losses.
Oh, Chito Vera. Sorry, not Figueiredo. It's Chito Vera is who he fought, and I think he injured his foot again and lost and blamed it on his foot. And now he's telling media that he's still undefeated. I'm like, all right. I think he's bitter about it, but it happens. Stuff happens.
What's been beat up is that hair. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks like a clown leg to me.
Exactly.
But anyway, he's still an exciting fighter because he was doing very well. He had a couple hiccups, so we'll see what happens when he comes back. If he loses again, I don't know what happens after that with him. I think the hype train might be leaving him behind, but
if he loses, I think he would get another fight, and then win or lose, he would slowly just start to, unfortunately, decline. And that's even if he got some wins, but I don't think he would be in there like, oh man, this guy's going to be in title contention anytime soon.
He could.
We'll see what happens. We'll see with this performance and how it happens.
I'm not even sure who to pick. I don't know. I'd like to think O'Malley will get it.
I think so too. I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Almeida does have twice the fights, but I think O'Malley has something to prove.
He definitely does.
He'll go out there and handle business.
Yeah.
Let's keep going down the card. Gillian Robertson versus Miranda Maverick. Ooh, that's a really boss last name.
Gillian Robertson, I think she's going to get this one. Very good jiu-jitsu from her. She's always getting submissions. I think she lost her last two fights, I think. I could be wrong. But she's very good on the ground. So
she is ranked number 15 also.
Yeah. I think she used to be higher up on the rankings, but those couple losses I think affected her. I'm going for her. I'll pick her to get some kind of sub. I don't know what, maybe an armbar. She's good at those. That's what I think.
Looking at this, the wins by submission are high. So I'd really like to see them go to the ground and grapple. I mean,
that's what Robertson does.
That'll be interesting.
She'll definitely attempt to go to the ground for sure. Yeah.
I too will take Gillian Robertson. I mean, Miranda Maverick is, she is going to be looking to make her mark. to get on the rankings.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Robertson will pull it out because her last fight was a loss, and she'll probably want that win.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Right. Let's keep going. Jamie Malarkey.
That's a great last name.
That is an amazing last name. Holy moly, versus Kama Worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. I really don't know who to pick because both fighters are coming off of a loss. Neither of them are ranked. Worthy does have more fight experience.
Yeah, he does. He's been around.
And he has the leg reach. But yet Malarkey is such a great last name.
Yeah. I definitely picked Kama Worthy. I think he has more experience. I think he might get this one. But you know,
right.
could be wrong,
you know what?
That's what I think.
Then I'm gonna say this: cut the Malarkey. I'm taking Jamie.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we got that picked. Excuse me. That's the main card for this weekend's UFC 260. Geez, they're at 260.
Yeah.
And those are our picks for the main card. And we're going to move on now to some other UFC news that's been going on. And UFC's Polyana Viana responds to Colby Covington's. There we go. Let me say it right. Revolting sexual comments.
Yeah.
So we've been seeing this a little bit more from fighters just doing interviews that they've been making inappropriate comments in social media or on podcasts or what have you about basically their coworkers, the female fighters. No one's been punished for it. And I feel like there should be a bit of punishment, as UFC is a fight organization. They, if somebody does something wrong in another organization, they are fined by the organization. I think the UFC does need to step it up because they also have female competitors. The UFC should step it up and essentially fine them or punish them somehow.
Yeah, that sounds nice. I don't think that'll ever happen. Unfortunately. I mean, what are you gonna do though? What would the UFC what do you think the UFC should do about that?
Well, unfortunately, the UFC, from my understanding of what I've seen of how fighters get paid, they don't make a lot. So if you have, say, somebody from another sports league, a millionaire right out the gate from what they signed or whatnot, they are fined $10,000, and it's essentially a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
But because UFC fighters don't make that much,
it would be a big dent for them, that's for sure.
Yeah. I don't know what you can really do besides maybe having them make a public apology, make a statement.
But you know what? So the way I feel about all that is, and I think I haven't really heard about this until recently. I think that podcast with Sean O'Malley and Casey Kenny, I think it was, is who.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, he made comments about Megan Anderson, and that was like, I understand guys talking, they talk about that kind of thing. I was just kind of bothered that they did it on a podcast for the entire world to hear, because it's shitty for her, whether she cared about it or not. I don't think she really did. I think she kind of did, not enough to do anything about it. But that was one thing that was pretty bad. As far as getting punishment for that, that's not going to happen, and whatever. But this situation with Colby Covington, I feel like it's a lot worse. I feel like this is like a pretty low blow to do to someone, let alone a female. Especially making the remarks that he did. It's like that's really low. I feel like that was kind of like
nightmare.
I feel like that was a really bad crossing the line issue situation. I would be super upset if someone did that to me. especially a training partner, or even if you don't go to the same gym, you kind of trained with them at one point. And, what's really shitty is I think I heard that she actually has a boyfriend. And now I'm just thinking, if that were me and I had a boyfriend and someone decided to say that publicly to the world and put a picture out of, me sitting next to someone really close as if it could have been real, you got a boyfriend wondering what the hell's going on. So you could have potentially ruined something in their personal life, which is really a shitty thing to do, especially just to get attention and stay relevant. Like, I know that's his thing. And, you had that whole Trump thing going on, but, Trump's not here anymore, so,
what
he's
is he going to do to stay relevant, unfortunately?
I know,
and what he's done is not working.
But it was such a bad choice. I don't know. And then Pollyanna, I don't know how close they actually are, but I'd be pissed if I was her. That's bad. That is something that maybe not the UFC should do to him, but maybe the public, that's kind of a social issue,
No, you're right about that. But because the UFC can't really financially hurt him, because he doesn't have enough financially, I think he could be publicly shamed by fight fans and what have you on social media.
Yeah, I don't know who cares about this.
Maybe let Viana kick him in the ding ding. And then record it, put it on social media. Oh my gosh, I'd share that to all my friends. I'd be like, "Did you see that dude get kicked in the junk? That was awesome."
What sucks is if they actually were friends and then you had a friend that did that to you. That's shitty.
I kick him in the junk.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just
no, but emotionally,
it doesn't feel good.
It's really messed up. It's not cool.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. No, especially if they were friends, training partners.
Exactly.
He could have done so many other things to get attention. It makes me think he's a bad person, even though he's probably not. He just made a really bad choice.
It's a part of his character.
Okay, but
that's
a shitty character
that he said in the past. Exactly. It's like, dude, you need to find a new character. Come on now.
Like the whole Trump get up, that was kind of harmless. It was a get up, his lame looking suits and just his attitude. I mean, it was funny. It was entertaining, that's for sure. But this is more of a serious issue. This is more of something.
Very much so.
This is not a get up, and I hope he doesn't stick with this type of thing, because this is really bad, especially to not just a UFC fighter, female, but any female. Just anyone.
Completely agree.
That. I don't know. I just keep thinking if that was
would you say that to your mom? Would you say it? If somebody said that about his sister, if he does have a sister, how would you respond? How would you react? You shouldn't do that. Inappropriate, dude. Not cool.
Especially saying that publicly and putting out that picture for an article. It's I'm surprised that I don't know. I think he thought it was funny or something, which is makes him look even more shitty, because that's not funny. Not to girls, it's not funny. The whole Megan Anderson thing, I could get over that. If I was Megan Anderson, I could totally get over that. Whatever, guys talk. This is publicly putting her out there specifically, and especially if that without her permission, it's man, what are you doing?
Completely agree. And
I didn't like that. I didn't really, that one actually, I don't get bothered by a lot of this stuff. This one is kind of ugh. Oh man. I really don't like him now. I don't.
All right. Well, let's move on to some other news. We both were talking about Marion Renault earlier. Her next fight is already set against a returning Misha Tate. Mm-hmm. Man, July 17th is when this fight's expected to take place. Misha Tate's been out of action for about 5 years. She's 34 right now.
Mm.
Man, I thought Tate was done, because I follow her on social media and she's enjoying being a mama, living life. And so to hear that she got,
to be honest, I don't know what's going on with her. I haven't heard anything, and I haven't really looked into her to see what she's been up to. I think she was a commentator for one championship, though, wasn't she? Or was that Bellator? No, it was one, I think.
She's the promotion's vice president.
Okay. I knew that. I just didn't hear of anything else of what she was up to or what. I thought she was done for sure.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought she was just enjoying being a mama, but nope. She still got that fire to compete, and so she'll be competing against Visalia's Marion Renault.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. I mean, we'll talk about this fight as it gets closer.
I think that's gonna be a good fight. I think it'll be good.
I think so too.
I know Misha Tate's good on the ground though, so I don't know if Renault gets taken down, but she's really tough too. Even though she lost this last weekend, she's still a good fighter, you know.
Yeah, I think unfortunately though, I think this is make or break for Renault.
I think so too. I think it's a good fight for her to do. I think it's good for her for this one. It's a good choice.
Yeah, and Tate, I mean, from when I've seen her compete locally at Strikeforce. She was awesome. She just ran into the problem of Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, as did everyone else at that time.
Very true.
But she did keep fighting after Rousey was gone because I believe she was the one that took the belt from Holly Holm like immediately after.
I think. That was pretty quick.
Was that it? And then after that, she lost her belt immediately to I believe it was Nunes. I think.
Very much. Yep. That's correct.
You know what it was? It was UFC 200. I remember this. This one was supposed to be a good one, and then just Nunes just was like, nope, and it never left Nunes since. She's had the belt ever since.
That's because Nunes, as we've established, is the GOAT.
She is, and so Misha Tate was saying she wants to make another run at Amanda Nunes because she says, I have the style to beat her, but I'm like, wait a second. She got killed by her already. I don't know. And that was an old Nunes. Can you imagine Nunes now? And Misha Tate coming out of retirement for not fighting for so long. I see her getting knocked out so fast by Nunes if that fight ever happens.
I want to see how they are transported to the arena because they are both moms, and I feel like they would roll up in minivans.
Probably.
Just saying. No, this is I'm a fan of Misha Tate. I always have been. So I look forward to see her come back and see how she performs. It sucks that she's fighting against a person I root for from Visalia that I'm a fan of.
That's good for Renault, though. That's a good fight for Renault to fight. That's a big name for her to fight.
That's true. Yeah. But I also feel like this is like Renault has to win this. If she does not,
she definitely
may
has to
be
win
gone.
This, yeah. Maybe.
So I'll take Renault because I want to see her win. But if Tate wins, like I'm not mad at that.
I feel like Tate's gonna win, unfortunately.
I do too, based on just the way she's competed, but she has been gone for 5 years, so
so we don't know.
Ring rust is a thing.
It is, yeah. People like to say it's not, but it is. For some people, it
Very
is at
much
least.
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, and now we're going to move on to the last topic of discussion. Antonio Tarver, who was supposed to compete against Frank Mir on the Jake Paul Ben Askren card, has not been cleared to fight in Georgia. So Frank Mir is left without an opponent. Tarver's out. He didn't pass the requirements for the licensing commission in Georgia. What are your thoughts on this?
To be honest, Frank Mir, don't care to see him fight anymore. I don't know. It was definitely something I was going to watch. That's for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really not interested in these old fighters fighting still. It's like, all right, cool. I'll watch it. But it's not like back in the day where you're really excited. You're like, oh man, I don't know what's going to happen. Where it's like, man, I hope it's good. You know? I don't know. I'm just not interested. I'm not interested. Not that I won't watch it, so maybe I shouldn't say that, but I'm just okay. You want to fight, whatever.
I did want to see if Frank Mir is going to get his ears boxed off by Tarver.
I think that's what was going to happen.
I'm pretty sure it was too.
So why?
Mir had solid striking in MMA, but that's MMA striking. That's not boxing. So I think Tarver would have boxed the brakes off of him.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why it's a thing. Why do MMA fighters go to boxing against pros when they're done doing MMA. Why do you think that is?
One, payday.
Money, yeah.
And
I
then
guess.
two,
You think that's the only reason?
maybe it's the training is different. Because I've seen MMA guys go in there against boxers, and because boxers are just boxers, they only do punches.
Right.
They're faster. They just have this innate quickness that's insane.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure why a lot of MMA fighters are like, you know what? I'll do it, but I think it's mostly money.
Yeah. Okay.
Frank Mir's in his 40s now. You know, who knows how long he's going to be competing still, if at all, in MMA.
Yeah.
So why not get that last cash grab?
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I get that. I just didn't know why it was a thing all of a sudden, because if you take the money out of the picture, it's like, why? You know?
And then you know what? There you go. That's the reason, money.
Yeah, so the Mayweather McGregor thing, that was cool because of who they were, but now you're getting everybody wanting to do it. And some of those
now
people,
you're getting the freak show fights. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're also getting people that don't have business being in a boxing ring in the first place. Like first of all, you're not a Mayweather or McGregor, so I'm not
Are you
really
are you referring to also Ben Askren?
A little bit. I mean, I'm gonna watch it. I'm not saying I'm not gonna watch it. I hate it. I'm just like not. I'm like watching two fighters that aren't professional. Well, I guess Jake Paul's a professional boxer, but I mean, we're pretty much watching two non-strikers strike. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. I just not excited about it. I'll watch it. I'm not excited though.
Now, there was also today, I want to say it was a press conference with Jake Paul and Ben Askren. No, I just saw the scuffle that happened when they were like looking at each other. And Jake Paul was like talking smack, and he's like, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what he's saying, but probably like, I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to beat you bad. And Ben Askren's like, okay.
Yeah, he didn't say anything.
And then Askren made a gesture or did something, like touched him in some way, and Jake Paul pushed him and got all upset. Was like, I'm right here. I'm right here.
Okay, I didn't see that. I saw this other thing where Askren was sitting at a table. His wife was there too, and
this was they were taking pictures and.
Okay, didn't watch that, but there was this before all that happened. There was this video of Jake Paul walking into the same room. Maybe it was right before the whole thing because they were already at the table. Askren was at the table, but nobody else was. So Jake Paul walks in with his crowd, his posse or whatever. He tries to kind of like start shit, but Askren's just sitting there like this, like looking at him like, what are you gonna do? So he goes over, he like flips his paper over and just like says some stuff, and him and his little team get in a huddle and they do like a countdown type of thing, and then they walk out as if it was some big choreographed pretty lame, to be honest. I don't know what it was, but it was a little funny.
Because you also realize that if stuff was to jump off, people would separate them. And then Askren's wrestling is so amazing that Jake Paul ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, if it happens outside of the ring, yeah.
He's getting the shot on him, and he's going to his back. The end. So
I don't know.
I can see why Askren's like, whatever, man. He's making a boatload of money too off this fight.
I hope so, because that's all it's going to be. I mean, I don't know if we're going to see anything spectacular, but I don't know. What do you think of? I don't know if we talked about this already, but what did you think is going to happen with this fight?
Jake Paul is going to have to he's going to have to beat Ben Askren. And because that will establish him not as a contender in boxing, but as someone who's serious about boxing. And because he beat Nate Robinson, we know he has the power. But Nate Robinson also took him very lightly. I don't see Askren taking him that lightly.
Wasn't Nate Robinson never a boxer?
He was I want to say he was an NBA player and then shifted into boxing. And got knocked out.
Yeah, by Jake Paul.
So I think Jake Paul is looking to prove himself
for sure
as a fighter. And so he is taking this seriously. But I don't think Ben Askren is taking him lightly.
No, I don't
I
think
hope
he is
Askren's been
either.
working his boxing, and I do hope Askren wins because Jake Paul is a great villain.
I
He's the
know.
guy that you're paying to see him get knocked out. He is the
Right.
new Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. I
Doesn't do it as
know.
well as Floyd. Let's be
Right.
real. Floyd's amazing,
Yeah.
but he is the new villain, and you want to see him get his clock cleaned.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I just don't know how much faith I have in Askren's striking. I know he's been training, but I don't know. I don't know.
Very much so. And
I hope
that
I
fight
get more excited
happens.
about this as time goes on because I'm not. I'm really just like it is a freak show fight, I guess.
I'm looking to see who else is on the card because the fight
Uh-huh.
takes place in the middle of next month, and so
Coming
I
up.
would like to see if there are any more freak show fights because that is my thing.
So when these kind of fights happen, do they normally put more freak show fights on fight cards like this?
Well, they'll have like main card fights, so they might if it's stacked, it might be like 2 or 3 like UFC, and then it'll be
Okay.
boxers, just regular boxers competing on the card.
Oh, okay.
A lot of guys making their way up in the circuit and what have you. So it's just like a UFC card.
Yeah. That'll be
it.
interesting. It should be interesting. Or not. I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
I just feel like we're gonna see a lot more of those, probably.
I think we will because I think they do draw a certain amount of money. And the way Jake Paul has been doing his thing and promoting these fights, I think we will see more of them. And I'm not mad at that. I mean, we need something to keep it interesting. And so Jake Paul doing this, that's fine. But the thing is in order for Jake Paul to still do this, he's got to continue to win. If he loses, well, we've already seen him get his ass whooped. We don't need to see that again.
Yeah.
So this is a really big deal for him in order to continue this idea that he's this bad guy that nobody can beat. And the next fight, could it be? Could it be?
How did they come up with getting Ben Askren to do it? Did he call him out specifically?
Well, from what I saw, he called out a bunch of people.
Oh, okay.
And I think Ben Askren
just
was
took
like,
it.
Ben Askren was like,
okay.
I'll do it.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay. Makes sense. So I'm like, why would you call out Ben Askren when you think you could probably beat him with his mentality, non-striker? Oh, I'll take him. He was big in MMA.
Yeah. I'll fight him. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
but
he's the one that
these
took
guys
the bait.
are gonna make a good amount of money off this fight, so more power to them. I look forward to it. I look forward to the outcome. That's what I look forward to.
What's going to happen after?
I want to see. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is really it for us this week on the MMA Mainstream Podcast. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so. I think we basically covered it. Yeah.
All right. I want to say Bellator is coming up pretty quick within the month of April. And if it's next week, like I think it might be, we will discuss that fight card, hopefully before it goes down.
Yeah, I think you're right.
If not, we will discuss it the week after. And don't worry, Bellator will be back and they're in the mix. And then I also need to do some digging on Premier Fight League because that's also something that should be popping up pretty quick as well. So until next time, I'm James. She's Kaelyn. This is the MMA Mainstream Podcast, and we will see you guys next time.